I can't make this shit up. I swear. I All I got was a warning. I'm not complaining because it definitely could have been worse. Cause right now I have no car insurance, so if a cop asks you for car insurance and you don't have it, that's your neck. You know, um, with everything going on, unfortunately, I can't afford it. But um, getting insurance is definitely on the to do agenda. But I went to Omaha. If people were paying attention, um, Omaha has the only Jamaican restaurant in the state. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, it's hit or miss. It really depends. So now that I live further away from Omaha, because when I first moved here, I lived in Friend, and now I live in York. So, instead of taking an hour and a half to get to Omaha, now it takes uh, an hour and 45 minutes, or sometimes 2 hours, depending on the traffic. People that know how I drive. And for what it's worth, I want to say I'm a pretty good driver. You know, I'm not NASCAR good, Formula D, Formula One good, but I with the proper car, I definitely could give anyone a run for their money. So, with that being said, on the way back home, on the way back home, uh, I was cutting it up on a highway. I was such a heretic. The max speed limit is uh is 75 miles an hour. Um, Most people, including myself, so it's not just me. Most people, they push it to 80 because what's 5 miles an hour over. But I was going 85, sometimes 90 if I want to test my limits a little bit. Um, when I got close to my town that I live in, um, which is York, um, when you get off the highway, um, there's a stoplight, and then there's a main road. So if you take a left, you're in the town of Geneva. If you take a right, you're in the town of York. So if you Google, like, say if you went on Google Maps right now, and then you say you're coming from Lincoln or you're coming from Seward, and when you look on the map, it'll say Geneva/York. So the exit that I took is directly on the town line of Geneva and York. So if you take a left, it's Geneva. If you take a right, it's York. So, but anyways, so at the stoplight, there's a main road, and I look left. I didn't see um anyone. I saw lights, but it wasn't close enough for me to let that vehicle go by. Like, it was at least a half a mile, a half a mile away. So a half a mile is quite some distance, you know. So so I looked and I was like, okay, I got room. So I took the right. As soon as you take a right or a left, it doesn't matter. As soon as you take either turn, the speed limit is 50 miles an hour. I I can't speak for everyone. On this part, I'm speaking for myself. So I don't shit where I eat. So if I'm out of town, if I'm anywhere else, I'm gonna speed, I'm gonna cut up, I'm gonna be a heretic. But in the town that I live in, I'm gonna play it nice because at the end of the day I have to deal with the same people that, you know, I might need to call on for help, God forbid. In my town, there's the York Police Department and then there's the York County Sheriff. So that's definitely double the trouble that any smart person don't shouldn't want to deal with, you know. So it goes without saying, you know, don't shit where you eat. Um, Especially if you have county and city sharing the same building. So when I took that right, I know the speed limit is 40 miles an hour. So I took it and I drove like a normal, responsible citizen. Just put it like that. And when I took the right, the light in front of me was green. So it wasn't turning yellow. It wasn't green, then it went to yellow, then I just ran a yellow light. No, it was like greener than all the money in the world. Greener than the greenest grass. So I was going like 40 miles an hour, and then I'm like, all right, let me get up to 55 miles an hour, because as soon as I was to get to 50 miles an hour, so by time that I was to get to 50 miles an hour, the speed limit changes again to 55 miles an hour. So either way you hack it, I was going to be fine. Before I even reached to 45 miles an hour, the car that was a half a mile away was like speeding, like it was coming off my bumper. So I was like, hey, you know, you got somewhere to go, so let me get out of your way. So, and mind you, I was in the right lane being the slow lane, the people that use both hands on their steering wheel, the people that just got their driver's license, the people that essentially don't want a ticket. So he was on my bumper. So I was like, okay, well, let me pull into the left lane and you could stay in the right lane and go past me. So as I turned into the left lane, the cop came into the left lane too. So I was like, okay, well, you know, that's weird. You know, you were in such a hurry, right? So so then I'm like, okay, you know, this is weird. So then he puts on his lights, and like before he put his lights on, the fact that he followed me to the next lane, I kind of had an idea it was a cop, because only cops do dumb shit like that. So there was no, so I went back to the right lane and I was trying to find a safe place to pull over. So I had to drive like another 300 to 400 meters just to pull over somewhere where it's safe. I immediately rolled down my window and like I was blasting music to like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. So, you know, kind of embarrassing, but I don't care. That was my emo phase, and I'm still going to stick by it, and I'm still going to rep that band until the day I die. So he comes up to my window and he was like, "Hey, you know, you ran that red light." And I'm thinking like what red light did I run? You know, that's weird, because as far as I'm concerned, that light was greener, you know, than gout and gangrene, and it was greener than money, greener than grass, and you know, the whole world is green. So so I told him, I was like, my light was green. He was like, no, my light was green, your light was red. And I'm still confused. And you know, he was like, can I have your registration and insurance? So, you know, I gave him my registration and insurance, and he was like, where are you coming from? So I told him, I was like, oh, I was coming from Omaha. I just wanted to get some Jamaican food. This time it was good. So, you know, I can't complain. As I said before, you know, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes the food is good. Sometimes, you know, it's not freshly made. So, but whatever the case may be, this time when I had it, it was good. And he was like, "Oh, I never had Jamaican food before," and I was like, in my head, I'm thinking like, "Of course you haven't, white boy." Like, hold on. So I'm like, you know, like, of course you haven't, white boy. Like, you're in the Midwest. Like Jamaican food or any other ethnic food is an acquired taste. Like you have to go out of your way to want to experience something new for your taste buds, for you to know what Jamaican food, African food, um, you know, Mexican food, and uh, Puerto Rican food, completely different. You know, they speak the same Spanish, but it's different. I promise you. You know, any person with culture in their blood, you know, a seasoned palate could tell you that. You know, so I told him, I was like, you know, I was coming from Omaha because there's a Jamaican there. That's the only Jamaican restaurant in all of Nebraska. Would I rather go there? No, but that's what I wanted. That's what I get. It's literally $40 for a full tank, and I'm literally spending 75% of a tank just to get Jamaican food. So, and that's to there and back. So I spent $40 plus another $25 just for the food. You know, so as I gave him my registration and license, you know, I was kind of relieved that he didn't ask for insurance, because if he did, again, you know, that would have been my ass. But you know, so as he was pretty much running my ID, I'm thinking like dang, you know, like there was no way the light was red, and how is his light green when my light was green too? So when he gave me back my registration and license, he was like, "Yeah, I ran the light when I was getting off the highway." And I'm thinking like dude, you know, like I can clearly see if there was a no turn on red. You know, I could see if there was obviously other cars coming by, but you was like way too far away for you to even care. What what really happened is, because when I registered my car, I registered it in Lincoln. So now that I live in York, um every county has a different code, and for York County, the code is 17. So if you're in York, for example, and you look at the license plate of each and every single vehicle that's here, the number's going to start with 17, followed by other different numbers. So because my plate didn't start with a 17, he figured that I was an out of towner. So he was like, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "Dude, I live here. Like my house is literally like right around the bend, hop skip away." So he was like, "Yeah, I'm only gonna give you a warning." And I'm thinking I'm like, dude, you know, not that I'm complaining. I mean, I am complaining, but like still, like just stay with me for a minute. If you're a cop, if I was a cop, okay, let's talk about me. I can't talk about any other cop. But if I was a cop and I'm going to pull over someone, and my intention is to give them a ticket, I'm going to make sure they deserve said ticket. Because I could be going to work. I could have had an emergency. Um I could have needed to go to the hospital. Um I could have been late for work. There's like 12, 15, 20 reasons why um people speed other than the sake of speeding, but you know, like people have things to do and places to go. And if you're going to give someone a warning, you literally just wasted. Because when I got stopped, I was stopped for like 7 to 8 minutes. That's 7 to 8 minutes I can't get back. Matter of fact, um, this happened on a military base. But it's still a good example. So most military bases, the speed limit is 20 miles an hour. About 5 to 7 years ago, this one guy got pulled over on a military base. And not once, but twice. So the first time he was pulled over, he got a warning for going 21 miles an hour. The second time he got pulled over, he got a second warning, again, for going 21 miles an hour. He wasn't going 25. He wasn't going 30 or 35. He just went 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. The two times that he was pulled over and got a warning, he was late for formation. So after he was pretty much chewed out by his commanding officer and all that stuff, he went to the military police and he told them, next time when you pull someone over, or especially if you pull me over, give me a ticket because I need proof on why I was late for formation. So with that being said, if I was late for work and I got pulled over, then I walk into work and my boss is wondering why I was late, and I have no proof that I was late because I didn't get a ticket. My boss is going to be like, "Well, you're a liar." Like being pulled over, you kind of can't make that up, but sometimes jobs want to see actual factual proof of why anything happen outside of work that affected you coming to work, you know? So, policing definitely, I don't know if it's for better or for worse, you know, but after this, after the looting and rioting and Black Lives Matter, policing definitely changed, but I'm not upset that, like I didn't get a ticket. I'm upset that like he went out of his way to give me a warning. Like what, like, dude. And that brings me to my other point too, is like the police out here have too much time on their hands. Way too much time. It's wild. And like, I complain about the police in Connecticut, you know, but looking back at things, because there's been one there's been one confirmed incident where I was speeding. I was going 55 in a 90. See, that right there is plenty of reason to, for one, 55 miles an hour. Okay, so I know the police officers in Orange, Connecticut, like, they do not play games. You know, so um, I was going 55. I was going 90 on a 55. I got pulled over. An orange police officer gave me a warning. Now, normally my license would have been suspended. I would have gotten a ticket. My vehicle would have been impounded. And I know there's a fourth thing on there, but um, long story short, I definitely could have been hemmed up. I know in Connecticut, the like, a cop can tell if your registration expired, or if you're driving without insurance, because the DMV, like, if you don't have insurance on your car in Connecticut, the DMV will flag your license plate. And if a cop runs your license plate, the cop can also tell that you have no insurance. So there was a time where I had insurance, but my registration was messed up. A cop pulled me over. That's a valid reason. There was a time where I had registration but no insurance. The cop definitely had a reason to pull me over. Um, there was there was a there was a time when I worked for the DMV in Connecticut, and I didn't stop at a stop sign. I just slowed down and like rolled through it. The cop gave me a ticket, but the cop told me that he's not going to even show up to court like he did. So when I rolled through the stop sign, he had my car towed because my car was not was not even registered. So, this cop was in Easton, Connecticut, but he gave me a ticket and he said he's not going to even show up to the court. So the cops, overall, in my experience, the cops in Connecticut, they pull you over for a reason. If they don't pull you over, that's because they have better things to do. But the cops out here in Nebraska, like I said, they got way too much time on their hands. Just a little bit too much time on their hands, you know. I mean, he probably gave me a warning because I have a little veteran thing on my license. I don't know. There could be two, maybe three reasons why he didn't really want to give me a ticket, but and give me warning instead. But still, you know, like if you're gonna commit to something, like full send it, dude. You know. Other than the food and the police officers here, Nebraska's not bad. You know. So now that I'm thinking about it, you know, I guess I'd rather have a cop with too much time on their hands, you know. So I don't know, but still, I can't make this shit up.